What's up, everyone? Christian Duke, StrengthAddicts.com here at Busy Body in Boca. This is the East location. I'm here with Blackstone Labs CEO, PJ Braun. PJ, how are you today?
Good, good. Thank you.
Awesome, and thank you so much. PJ actually had a photo shoot today and was done at 12:30 and waited for me for like over an hour because I was stuck in an Uber behind the railroad tracks. So, interesting day. And today's been an interesting day for you as well. Various things have happened, right? I wanted to get started, and I kind of want to know a little bit about the past. You know, I remember you being a very, very good competitor on the NPC level, national level, and in contention for winning your pro card. And then all of a sudden, I saw that you had reinvented yourself as a businessman, very successful businessman. At what point in your NPC career did you decide that the pro card maybe wasn't, you know, something that you were going to get or something that you were going to invest any more of your time in pursuing?
Sure. I actually had a long-term business model in place for a very long time, but I didn't necessarily want to dive into it because of how much I wanted to make it in bodybuilding so bad. But to backtrack a little bit, I started training very hard when I was 12 years old. So by the time I was a senior in high school, I was the biggest kid in my school. I was known as like the big kid. I was competing on the national level as a power lifter in the AAU, which was all drug tested. I had a lot of records and titles. I was actually the AAU United States champion in the 198 pound division when I was 18. And in my final competition, when I was 19, I completely ruptured my biceps tendon and bicep and had reconstructive surgery on my arm. So that was when I started switching more away from the powerlifting into the bodybuilding. Now, I always wanted to be a bodybuilder, but I found powerlifting to be a lot of fun. If I could go back in time, I would have utilized those exercises, but I would not have competed as much as I did in the powerlifting because it beat my body up pretty bad, and I would have been a better bodybuilder if I did not do that.
And when you competed in powerlifting, you did all 3 lifts or just bench?
Yeah, raw. I did 2 equipped meets, but most of the time I competed raw. My best numbers at 198 were 550 squat, 330 bench, and a 550 deadlift, and that's at 19 years old. So I went to college at UConn, and I switched my major from business to exercise physiology because of a guy that I met named Rene Brew, who I've never seen anyone like him before. He very unique genetics. He was half Chinese and half Dominican. So he had the tiny bone structure, but the round, you know, Victor Martinez style muscles. So he was a light heavyweight competitor that looked so much bigger. And at the time, I was about 215, 220 pounds, you know, natural, just big, thick guy. I couldn't believe that he was only 198 pounds because he just seemed so monstrous to me. Right. And the advice that he had given me, he said, if you want to pursue this, you're going to have to understand something. And he goes, I'm going to be very blunt with you. He goes, you're a big white boy and you don't have the genetics to be a great bodybuilder. So you're going to have to educate yourself on what it takes to make it. He goes, and you're going to have to work extremely hard. He goes, but I'm willing to let you train with me and teach you. So I think you guys can all figure out what he meant by educate yourself on what you're going to have to do to make it. And the best advice that I got from him that I utilized with a bunch of young kids that asked me was, I said, well, what do I have to take? And he said, I don't want you to worry about that right now. I just want to help you with your nutrition and help you learn how to train. So from 19 to 20, I trained with him. I made a lot of progress. I said, okay, I'm ready to take the stuff now. He said, well, look how much gains you made in 1 year. He's like, let's do it again. And he continued to do that to me until he was graduated and out of school, and I didn't actually even take any anabolic steroids for my first show that I did. I didn't take any until after my 23rd birthday. I'm glad that I did that. So I had 10 years of very hard natural training under my belt. Now, while this was all going on, my grandfather, who is to me still the most brilliant man that I've ever met, he helped design the Hubble Space Telescope. He's been on Yahoo News as an engineer, worked for NASA. He was very disappointed that I was putting so much into bodybuilding. He wanted me to be an engineer like him, and I was always, you know, intelligent and did well, and he felt like I was being a loser, were his exact words, by spending so much time in the gym. And I was so angry with him, and I had a bit of a fallout with him, and I said, I'm going to make it in this industry, and you'll see. I believe that I'm going to make it, and I'm going to make a lot of money. And I told my parents that if I am not one of the top 5 best in the world by the time I'm 30 years old, I promise I will retire and I'll put all this energy and emphasis into growing a successful business. Wow. And I made it one more year, 31, because year 30 I suffered so many injuries that I couldn't let it go. I was like, man, I just wanted to see how I would have been if I didn't have any injuries this year. So I did it one more year, and that USA's was actually the worst I've ever done at the national level show. It was July 24th, 25th weekend. I launched Blackstone Labs September 1st of that same year. So I held my word to my parents, took all that energy and put it into the business. So it was a model and a plan that I had been thinking about for years. We were working for Iron Mag Labs, and we were working for RX Muscle, and we were doing stuff with Dave and all these other guys. And I said to Aaron, I said at his wedding, actually, I go, we need to do this ourselves. Mm-hmm. You know, these guys are making a lot of money. We're helping them make a lot of money, but we can do this ourselves. And that was when we started putting together our plan on what we wanted to do, and obviously the rest is history. So.
And they say that the only way to wealth is by actually creating something. You can never truly become wealthy by working for someone else. I don't know if you'd agree with that.
It's a matter of, there's a few variables. I mean, what are you actually doing for work? I mean, you can be a lawyer in a giant law firm and make what people would consider very good money. But I believe that if you want to create something that is going to be a large success, or, you know, something that is going to put you into that upper echelon of like real impressive income, you've got to come up with something that nobody else is doing, and you've got to do it.
Absolutely. Now, social media has been very, very big for you. It always has, from A to Z, from the very beginning. And, you know, whether it's taking folks into Blackstone Labs or even taking folks into your home with Beauty and Braun, mm-hmm. correct? Has there ever been a point in time where you've said, enough, you know, this is too much, I have to draw a line somewhere in terms of your private life, in terms of what customers, fans know about PJ Braun and what PJ Braun does outside of the fitness industry?
Up until recently, I actually didn't have an issue with it, because I have seen the boom, you know, in my adult life of reality TV and what reality TV, everything is reality TV now. I don't even know of any regular sitcoms anymore, if people even watch sitcoms. There's a reality TV show for everything. So to me, from a marketing standpoint, I've always visualized myself, although, you know, I studied business and I studied exercise physiology, nutrition, I always felt that I had a gift for marketing. And I could understand how to market something to the people that I wanted to market it to in a layman's sense, where they would totally get what I was saying. And when I had my training and consulting business, Instagram wasn't even a thing yet. Mm-hmm. But I was utilizing Facebook so much that I knew when we were going to launch our company, we're going to do this all through social media, because we can hit so many more people, and we're hitting people essentially for free. Mm-hmm. And this was before Facebook opened up, you know, paying for audiences and things like that. Right. So I learned that for whatever reason, people feel that I am just a entertaining, charismatic guy, and that the more that I was in front of the camera, the more people would gravitate to us and want to see what we were doing. And it was actually Jay Cutler who said, don't hire any more bodybuilders. Stop hiring their bodybuilders. He's like, you're the one that should be out there doing everything. You're the one that should be the face of everything. People want to see you. They want to hear what you have to say. They want to see what you're doing. And it was after that he said that I kind of started thinking about it. I'm like, maybe I should approach this differently. Maybe I should welcome people into my life, because people would always say, they're like, man, you need a reality show. Your life is crazy. So at that point, we just started putting everything out there. And I created a lot of stories and a lot of, you know, different things for different people and different things for the companies and my other companies. And I will say that now, years later, we wouldn't be where we are had we not done it that way. Mm-hmm. But as far as my personal life goes, now that I've gone through a divorce, which I've been very quiet about, it's finalized today, I would, for the future, keep more of my personal life, let's just say my love life, for myself and my partner. I think that you become such a part of the public eye that you get judged from so many angles and so many perspectives that a lot of negativity can come from it. And I think there's something to be said about something that you just share with somebody and nobody else.
Absolutely.
And so that's the one thing that I think that I would do different now. Now I always tell people I'm an open book, and my cardio Q&As, they're much different now than when I was doing them a couple years ago. I was a lot more PC a couple of years ago, and I'll pretty much answer anything now. 90% of the questions are about anabolics.
Sure.
I get questions about sex. I get questions about my opinions of people in the industry, and I'm honestly just being honest. I'm just giving my honest answers at this point. I was PC for 5 years. My company, we got sued from so many different angles. We got sued for the color red.
Right.
You know, people are so
happy,
and they don't want to see people do well. See, myself and Aaron, we were always the complete opposite of that. We want everybody to do well. We always believed that if you're working hard and you have a vision and a plan, that there's enough for everybody to do well. So I love seeing, people that do well because they're not my friends.
Sure.
I don't have time to sit and hope that somebody does bad because I'm too focused on what we're doing.
Sure.
Now,
in terms of social media, in terms of sponsored athletes, times have really changed. It used to be, if you were nationally qualified, if you were, top 10 nationally qualified. What's more important to you? I know Karen also helps you, Karen Yoakum, who I think is just like the coolest. I know she helps you a lot with social media, but what's more important, or is it a combination of both for Blackstone Labs, trophies or followers?
To be honest with you, now, I would have answered this question different last year and just simply said followers. Now, both of them, in essence, are somewhat irrelevant, and I'll explain why. We have experimented with some of these Insta-famous models that have millions of followers. And the theory was, regardless of whether or not they're actually using that person's coupon code, which is the true trackable way to see what their value is, you can't put a value on impressions. So if this person has 2 million followers and they're posting about your company 5 times a week, that's 2 million people potentially seeing the name of your company or one of your products 5 times a week. So you could essentially hit 10 million with that. And there's no true way to put a value on that because I know myself. I have never purchased a Shreds product. However, I've seen their stuff so many times because of how aggressive they were and how many impressions that they were leaving that I actually know a ton about them. And now I didn't buy anything, but obviously a lot of people did because of that. So that is a great example of the value of impressions. Now, with where we're at now, unfortunately being a pro, I mean, if you add 75 cents, you can get yourself a bag of chips. I mean, that's unfortunately being a pro has lost its value. In the 90s, there were guys that had $300,000 contracts. Those days are long gone. Then you saw the big boom on Instagram and social media, and there was people like Paige Hathaway and Joey Swoll, these people that were making 6-figure contracts. Right? Those days are also all gone. And most of those people are not even with Shreds anymore. The value now is, what you want is to assess somebody's organic following, which you can figure out. I have a little, equation that I go through that I look. You want the person that you are sponsoring to be interactive with the people that are following.
Very good point, yeah. Absolutely.
So let's say somebody has 1 million followers and they have the ability to leave 1 million impressions, but they don't talk to any one of those people. They just simply post pictures. We actually have analytics to prove this. Most of those people, typically they're women. They're attractive women. They're being followed by guys that think that they're hot. And I follow a bunch of them because I think they're hot. That certainly doesn't mean I'm paying attention to anything they're pitching or selling or anything else. Now, you can take somebody that has 2,500. And perhaps that person has a training business, or perhaps that person is aspiring to be a trainer or a coach, and they're interacting with every single person that posts on their page, and they're building relationships. Well, what winds up happening is those people become friends with the people that are following them, and they develop bonds. And next thing you know, those people are like, well, what products are you using, or what, who do you work for?
Right.
And then those people become customers. So that kind of organic following that goes with relationship building is where the real value is. Absolutely. And I can give you an example. One of our athletes, Sanit Sani, when I signed her, she had 11,000 followers, right? And she had a very small training business.
Okay.
She had a very unique look, and she was 100% Indian, from India, not Native American. And I said, you have such a great look, and you're very intelligent. I have a system that I use that I think that if you use this, it'll not only help you build your training business a lot, but it'll work for me because you can write in the products into their programs. Well, she followed it even better than I designed it, and was so detailed with what she was doing and so gung-ho with helping people that her following grew dramatically fast. And she went up to like 300,000 in a year.
Wow, that's insane.
So busy that her fiance actually stopped his job to help her with the online training business, and they're making massive money, which is awesome for them, good for them.
That's amazing.
And they're also putting the products into all of their, they're customizing the routines. Well, okay, this is what you can use from Blackstone Labs for this. This is what you can use from Blackstone Labs. There is such a tremendous value in that, because those people, usually you start seeing residual income from that. Sure. Because people are loyal to brands. I mean, I used Optimum Nutrition protein for at least 10 years, and people be like, try this one. I'm like, no, I like the protein that I use now. Right. That's how people are, and they're coming back every month to buy it again. So for us, we look at what we try to decide who has a true organic following, and I would much rather have 50 ambassadors that have less than 5,000 followers that are gung-ho about the brand and talking to their followers and helping their followers than 2 or 3 that have 2, 3, 4 million that aren't engaging with anybody. Because I have done that a few times, and I can say that with exception to one, Tana Ashley, who's just a machine, none of them were worth any money at all. And
it's great too that you guys are concerned with athlete development as well, because like the case with the competitor that you just mentioned with the fitness business, when the competitor or the athlete gets a huge following, that also helps Blackstone Labs. I mean, it goes hand in hand. Now, in terms of sponsored athletes, I want to ask about Jason Genova.
Sure.
I went to the Ruby here last Saturday. Thank you very much to Karen for urging me to go. It was a great time. And I have to say, when you decided to let Jason go because of everything that was said and done, I came out and I supported you. I did a video, and my show on MD, I did the same, because I thought it was the right move. I didn't think Jason belonged in the fitness industry. I thought a lot of people were taking advantage of him. Whether it's writing a column for a magazine, which maybe he writes, maybe he doesn't, I don't know, or appearing on shows. I just thought that he was being used. And but after meeting him, though, I have to say though, I also thought it was a little bit of not an act, but I thought maybe it wasn't quite as bad, But I met him, and he made a really, really good impression on me. He's a really nice kid, nice person. He's my age, and Angie's super nice. But would you ever consider working with him again? I think that I think he would require. I mean, again, I don't know in the company or anything, but I think if there was some way where his mom could have a greater role and supervise what was released, because that's what I told him. I said, Jason, where you get in trouble is with Instagram Live and Facebook Live, because sometimes you could be a little impulsive. You can say things you don't mean. Once it's live, some jerk's gonna record it and then reproduce it a million times, and then you're in a lot of trouble. What would you say to that?
So with Jason, when I first met him 5 years ago, when I first moved down here, I actually did think that it was going to be more of an act. And when we met him, we were like, wow, this is a lot different than we expected. And Aaron and I had spoke about it, and I said, man, originally I was just going to kill him in this workout and just torture him and mess with him just because of all the videos that he puts out. I'm like, that would be honestly very wrong. I said, I think what we really should do is try to spin this, because he's obviously, mentally handicapped. And if we can spin this to, us guiding him, getting him into amazing shape. Not only will I be the greatest coach, because nobody else has been able to do it.
Right.
I said, and that's something that's personal. That was a personal goal of mine. I said, but it's a good, feel-good story, and this kid needs some guidance. And so that was the way that we spun it. And my ex and even people that are around me a lot, they all say, they're like, no one makes you smile and laugh the way Jason does. And it's true. He's a really good kid, and he's funny, and he in many ways is more intelligent than people realize. But he 100% does have mental handicaps, and I'm in no way a doctor. I self-diagnosed him early with Asperger's syndrome. I have a friend who is a real medical doctor that watched a bunch of the videos and confirmed that that she felt that he had Asperger's syndrome. Also, perhaps some mild Tourette's. This is an actual medical doctor saying this, and she actually felt that based on the way he was acting in the videos, he was probably not medicated properly. Now, I've been around Jason so much that I've seen him not on his medicine, and I've seen him on his medicine. And when he is on the proper medicine, he's very even, and he's calm, and he's very easy to interact with and manage. Now, I've also seen him off his medicine, where there was a time where people called me, I wasn't at the office, and they were like, please come here right now. Jason is in the parking lot freaking out. The girls are scared to even go outside. And I'm like, he's harmless. I promise I'll be there in 10 minutes. I got there, and he was freaking out. And I was like, calm down, what's wrong? And he was just saying how everybody was so mean to him on YouTube, and he couldn't understand why everybody hated him, and he was going to kill himself. And I was like, Jason, stop. You're not going to kill yourself. Calm down. Like, here's the deal. You've got to try to listen to me and understand. You are creating all the things that are happening because you are putting everything on YouTube. So if you continue to do that, unfortunately, this is what you're going to have to deal with for the rest of your life. You can make it all go away right now by not posting any more videos anymore. You won't see what they're saying. They won't see what you're doing, and you can focus on being you. But he is so hyper-focused on being a YouTube celebrity. That's his focus. And he can tell you the amount of subscribers that every single YouTube quote-unquote celebrity has.
This is a dirty question to ask you, and I apologize. We can even cut it if you don't want to answer it. But do you think on some level he wanted to be like you, like with the whole peace out bye and just trying to like really bring the audience into his personal sort of the way that he did things and made meals? And do you think maybe because I know you said that you there is a sort of a paternalistic thing there.
and he has actually said you're like my dad, you're like father to me. And I always tell him you're my brother, and I mean, I can show you my phone, there's missed calls from Jason, and then there's calls out to him. I called him the night before his show. I mean, we speak a lot. He calls Salvino when he can't get a hold of me. I mean, I have been heavily involved in his life for 5 years. I've probably, without exaggeration, given him, in 5 years, I would say $50,000 worth of product, and straight just cash. I could say, with full confidence, I've probably given him 10 grand. Over the past 5 years, just gas every time he sees I need money to fix my computer, I need this, I need that. And I don't mind doing it, but there are a lot of people that hate that. And that jealousy that they harbor makes them meaner to him. And we all know that the YouTube trolls are the worst. They're the meanest. Oh, yeah. I've had the talk with him numerous times about, you have to understand you're never going to escape this. So when everything got really ugly, when he just started, from Diana to then the rich piano to then everything else, when he did that, you have to understand, and the people that are mad at me about it, first, number one, I don't care that they're mad at me, but what they need to understand is this: I run a business. I have 40 people in my warehouse who are counting on me to make proper decisions so that they can get their paycheck every week, so that they can pay their rent, so that they can keep the lights on, so they can put food on their tables. Okay.
And you have athletes too, right? I
have over 80 athletes and ambassadors. Now, every decision I make is very important. It's a heavy responsibility to be the president of a company, especially when you care about your staff. I love my staff. I feel I have the best staff in the world. They're family to me. We all hang out outside of work. We're a very tight-knit group. When that went down with Jason, the first day, by the time the day was over, we had more than a dozen wholesale accounts that said they were dropping the brand. and some very large accounts that said that they were dropping the brand if we continued to do work with Jason Genoga. To the point where we sat down, we had a meeting, and no one can pressure me into doing anything that I don't want to do, but between my dad, my vice president, my chief of staff, the sales team, they were like, honestly, man, we have to do something about it. We have to let him go. You can't. And they were right. Now here's the deal. You're talking about what could have potentially been a dramatic decrease in revenue for the company, which then leads to me laying people off and putting those people in horrible positions. How could I do that?
Yeah, you couldn't.
Can't do it. And that's what the people that are saying, oh, you're not loyal to Jason. Well, where's the loyalty to me then? You know, like, right. By doing something like that, you're directly hurting me and all the people that work for me. So there is no one, not one person in my building that would want Jason to come back. And if I did, it would make a lot of people upset, because it's been a lot to deal with for a few years. I love him, I always will. I will always give him product for free, and I will always take care of him. I've been out to dinner with his mom plenty of times. Jane loves me because she knows that I'm one of the few people, besides Andrew, that actually did care about Jason, and Karen also did care about Jason, because we know that he's actually a good kid, but he's just so impressionable that you can just spin him around, and these guys, they're like puppet masters with him, you know. I think that what most of the people do with Jason is pretty disgusting.
But you do have great respect for Andrew, though.
Yes, I've known Andrew since the beginning, and although he does have his misfits with him, he actually always did care about Jason, and he always had Jason's best interest, and he understands Jason, you know. A lot of people don't understand him, you know. They think he's this crazy, goofy kid, or maybe he's got a mild, you know, learning disability or something. They don't understand him the way that we do, because we've spent so much time around him.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I really appreciate you taking the time. You know, finally, what's to come? Like, what do you see in the future for Blackstone Labs? And, you know, what are some things that you want to do now, like with this new chapter of your life that you've talked about? You know, divorce is never pleasant. So, I mean, what's to come for you and for the company?
Well, on a personal level, this year was one of the hardest, if not the hardest year I've ever had. And anybody that I've talked to that's gone through a divorce, they usually back it up. Yeah, divorce was the worst part of my life. So I want to focus now that it's done. I've done this 30-day, just insane, torture myself transformation where I lost 30 pounds. And we're going to now document all that and go through, you know, the things that I did, which I wouldn't recommend to most people, but I've been working out and dieting for 25 years, so I knew I had a plan in place that I knew that I could do for 30 days. So on a personal level, I want to be the best son, the best brother, the best friend, the best boss that I can be. And I actually apologized to everybody about a month ago, and I said, I'm sorry, man, I was just depressed this year, and I know I kind of kept to myself a lot, and even people were saying, you know, you're not really on social media that much anymore, and I felt like I didn't really have anything good to say, you know, and that's all behind me. I'm the happiest I've been in a long time. So on a personal level, I just want to keep growing as a person. And I've learned that myself, I have to be bodybuilding. I have to. Not at a competitive level, but I got out of it. I got out of training. I got out of prepping my meals. And I thrive in that environment, in that structured environment. And when I'm thriving in that environment, everybody that's around me and my company will thrive as well, because I'm just more efficient. And that's where I'm at personally. Blackstone Labs, the company, we are such a well-oiled machine now, and it's a testament to my staff, and I'm sure people have heard this expression before. My grandpa told me when I was young, he said, if you're the smartest person in the room, you'll never make it in life. You need to surround yourself with people that are better than you in the things that may not be your strong points. And I have such a strong staff that there are probably 3 people that could run the company for me if I died tomorrow. And you know, you'd lose the main face of the company, but that understand the business inside and out. My vice president, David, is incredible. My dad is amazing. My chief of staff, Salvina, is amazing. I mean, these people wear multiple hats. And because of that, the ship is sailing fast and smooth. And now with the partnership with Jared Wheat from High Tech, I put myself in a position, you know, fortunately, where I have arguably the greatest formulator of all time as my partner. I mean, Jared has something like, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 companies. He's done it all from, you know, sex pills to energy drinks to everything with the DNA. I mean, he's done it all. And he is like a walking encyclopedia of anything pharmacological or chemistry based that you can think of. So he sometimes pitches ideas to me, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing, let's do it. And sometimes I'll pitch something to him, and he'll say, well, you know how you can make that better? And I'm like, great. And that's made it very exciting for me now. Like, I feel like we had a great 5 years, but now we have products coming out faster. We have unique categories that people haven't even done yet, releasing as the year goes on. So it's a very, very exciting time to be with Blackstone Labs.
Awesome. Well, listen, I'm really happy for you. And again, you do interviews with magazines and big TV stations. So I'm really humbled that you would take the time and also wait an hour for me to get here. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for doing the interview. For Blackstone Labs CEO, PJ Braun, Christian Duke, StrengthAddicts.com.
Thanks.